Hoya!
There we go, we're here.
Hey everybody, welcome back. I am so excited for this episode. I flew back out to Florida and visited Costa Farms again. Now, Costa Farms provides a lot of the plants to big box shops, and a lot of the rare and uncommon plants that we're all hunting for come from Costa. So for them to allow me to come out and tour their greenhouses and share some of the behind the scenes with us, it's just mind-blowing to me and absolutely amazing. I'm so grateful. Now, if you remember during the first episode, Mike the plant hunter took me around. He finds all the different plants for Costa, and he shared some really cool behind the scenes, talked about the trending tropicals. He also talked about the Monstera Thai constellations and when we can expect to see those coming out in the big box shops. So if you haven't seen that first video, I do recommend it. It's very, very cool. And I'll include it here and also in my description below. Now, for this episode, I visited another location they have, and Danny with Costa went over the Exotic Angels collection and gave us a really cool tour of their greenhouses. Now, the Exotic Angels collections are the ones that you'll see in the hanging baskets, so a lot of philodendrons, Hoyas, ferns, I mean, you name it. Also, if you remember during that first episode with Mike, he showed some of the upcoming trending tropical plants that I wasn't able to disclose that content during the first video, but I'm able to share it with you now. So I'm really excited. I will include that content at the after my Exotic Angels tour with Danny. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Ashley and I'm obsessed with all things plants. As you can see, I'm definitely a crazy plant person and proud. So if that brings a smile to your face and you're interested in seeing planty content showing up in your news feed, the only way for that to happen is to subscribe. Also, we have a really great plant community on Instagram that we would love for you to be part of. There's no way I could have flown all the way to Florida, rented the car, got the hotel, did the whole thing if it wasn't for our amazing sponsor, Athletic Greens. Now, Athletic Greens is a company and a product that my husband and I actually use regularly before they even reached out. So when they did reach out, we were like, yes, please. Like, we love their product. AG1 by Athletic Greens is a daily supplement that has me really excited about simplifying my health routine. It has 75 different ingredients, including vitamins, minerals, superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. There are a lot of health benefits associated with AG1 by Athletic Greens, so I'm not going to go into all of it, but some of the primary ones that I've noticed are my digestion. I've struggled with bloating and just having to take a lot of probiotics, all of that kind of thing, and they say that your gut is your second brain, and so it's really important to make sure that your digestion is at optimal performance. AG1 contains natural occurring enzymes that bolster the digestive process, support your metabolism, and enhances nutrient absorption. And I don't feel as hungry due to how my body is absorbing the ingredients, which in turn is just really supporting my metabolism. The convenience of it is what helps keep me consistent. It's 8 ounces of water with 1 scoop or 1 travel packet a day. That's it. To me, it tastes herbal with like a slight melon or pineapple flavor, and the texture is similar to a protein shake. Get your greens. Go to athleticgreens.com/plantlife to get started on your order. Athletic Greens is going to give my community a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All right, everyone, I hope you enjoy this tour given by Danny of the Exotic Angels collection. And don't forget at the end that there is bonus footage sharing some really cool upcoming houseplants that's going to be included in the Trending Tropicals collection.
So where we are currently is a facility that does only 8-inch hanging baskets. That is all you're gonna see here.
This is incredible. So this is where they just hang out, they grow, they get to the right size, and then you ship them out?
Correct. So typically the plants that we grow here, when they're hanging, they'll hang for about 12 to 16 weeks before they're ready to ship.
All right.
But there's also a production process which we'll go through and look at, and they'll have to stay this part of the greenhouse for anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks. So we're talking a total of 16 to 18 weeks from beginning to end. I am the hanging basket manager for the Exotic Angel brand. So we do a 6-inch basket and an 8-inch basket. I oversee those programs.
And how long have you been with Exotic Angels?
14 years in February. This house right here on the left, All of these are spaced out to be about 25,000 square feet. So this house we're looking at right here is only ivy.
You sell a lot of ivy?
We do. We sell a lot of ivy. All of the ivy that we grow here, they're mutations that we have in one of our facilities. It's devoted only to ivy stock.
Okay.
And so we are constantly finding new mutations, different varieties, probably about 5 to 6 different variations a year. Now they don't all work out. You know, some are a little too slow, or we're not too crazy about the reversions that come out, but you know, we're getting a good solid 2 to 3 different varieties of ivy every year. This is used mainly for crazy spring production, which we are in the middle of right now.
Okay, getting everything together, ready for springtime when you get really busy.
Correct. So the gold pothos that we grow this time of year, if we were to fertilize them normally like we would, and then we would change the roofs, we would have complete losses on the gold pothos that we produce, because they get salts and fertilizers and stuff that get built up in the leaves, and when that bright light hits it, when it's used to shade, it cooks them. So there's this whole process. We're talking about thousands and thousands of plants that we have to have them be a little hungry for a little while until they acclimate to the high light again, and then we can start to refeed them, and within a few weeks they green up and they're the quality that we expect.
Do you recommend that for people that take their plants home for an acclimation period, to hold off on maybe fertilizing for a little bit?
For fertilizing,
or
yes.
Okay.
The plants that we send are already good and charged. You know, they've got all the nutrients they need for a few months anyway. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend hitting fertilizer on new indoor plants.
Okay.
So these are the 6-inch pots. You can see that they're a little bit smaller than the 8-inch. This is 1.5 quart volume, and those are 3 quart.
So how do you choose which plants that you want to include in the Exotic Angels collection?
So we work only on assortments. We don't do any straight cases. You know, customers can't say, hey, I want a case of only this or that. Everything is based on grower's choice. And we choose that just based on the success of the plant that we know, that we feel like the customer is going to have. Yeah, the end goal is for the consumer to have success. And we could grow a lot of varieties that, you know, we can do it very quickly, or they're a little bit more rare, but they take forever to grow. And there's a learning curve to those. And that's what the beauty of the Exotic Angel brand is we're bringing to market plants that wouldn't typically be available to a lot of customers, but they're also not complicated, right? So the end consumer having success is key to what we do.
Things like the Marble Queen that consumers will rename stuff. And
oh, right. Well, even more than the consumer renaming it, it's other competitors that will take a strain of a variety that we grow and they'll give it a different name just so that it doesn't seem like it's something that came from Engelmann. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's a common practice. And there's a lot of varieties that we have found in the greenhouse that have mutated, and other companies, they jump on it. I don't know if they find it in a store and they just start their own stock of it, and they sell it. And they sell it as the name that we've come up with, so it's common. So this area is mainly for pothos. We keep this pretty dim light in the summertime because we like to keep the neon pothos on the bottom. Neon pothos like light, but they don't like too much. They're a little finicky with that, so they're perfect for indoor environments. Give you that beautiful yellow color. So a strategy that we use to help protect them even more is we grow the gold pothos above the neon, and it just gives it that extra layer of shade, a little less light hitting the neon directly.
That's good to know about the neon pothos, is they actually prefer less light.
Yeah, in an indoor environment, you're not going to really get enough light to affect them. Here, where it's, you know, the greenhouse effect, and it's 1,300 foot candles all day.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people don't have glass roofs, right? You have a window so it gets half of the day sun, but not the whole day. This is my favorite plant to name. Saxifraga.
Saxifraga.
Saxifraga. And strawberry begonia. And the beauty of these little pups are so easy to propagate. You pop these off, that little guy right there in the soil, easy.
Good to go?
Good to go.
Reminds me of the spider plants that have the little pups.
Yes, yes. We will see some spider plant mother plants and also finishing plants, but it's the exact same idea. Some Phetonias. We do a few varieties of Phetonias in the baskets. They're mainly reserved for the smaller pots that the Exotic Angel brand does.
World's most dramatic plant when
Yes,
it's thirsty.
exactly.
Comes right back though.
Looks like it's dead, and then you water it an hour later. Whoop, I'm back.
Yeah, the
So I keep
Phethonia
one next to
flower.
all my plants, and that's my little canary in the coal mine.
Ah.
If it looks dead, then I know I have to water.
That's smart.
Actually, that's brilliant.
We choose to keep the greenhouse no colder than 57 degrees. These plants will live well beyond going below that, but it stunts the growth. And like I was saying earlier, these plants are primed for springtime. We cannot miss the window, right? We can't let these things slow down 3, 4, 5 weeks. Then we've missed the whole boat.
So that's what this is
It's a heater tube. Yeah, it hooks up to the machine on the other side of the wall there. We'll walk by some more of them, but it just pumps hot air through it, and hot air rises, so it's the most efficient way to heat the greenhouses. Like I said, these plants would be fine in much cooler temperatures. It's just to keep them growing, keep the cycle moving. Plants are fed a system called constant feed. Those are the machines that inject just a little bit of fertilizer into the water. And so every time we water the plants, they get a little bit of fertilizer. I like to look at the greenhouse as like a hospital. And the area that we are going to walk into is the ICU. Okay. These plants, they don't have their roots. They are hooked up to machines like the misters that we have. They have to be constantly monitored. There's a grower that comes in multiple times a day to check on these things. And they're not in any way able to live on their own. They have to be under constant supervision. So this is the ICU of the greenhouse. Employees gently putting the little patients into their bed and, delicately watching over them. Of course, all the plants that we see hanging, that's the next step of the hospital. That's the recovery room. The plants are able to live on their own. They're not hooked up to machines. Maybe the doctor comes in once a day to come check on them, make sure they're getting the medication they need, but they're in recovery mode.
So what are these?
Those are the drip tubes. Each plant gets one drip tube. This is a point of contact watering system, so nothing is wasted with the overhead sprays. Now you will see on occasion these will come on and mist the plants. This is only water. There's no fertilizers or anything mixed into it, and that's just to create the idea is to create that 100% humidity to help the roots have what they need to grow. The scope of what we do here is just amazing, and this is 2,400 Marble Queen plants in an 8-inch basket. Each one of those gets 25 cuttings. So you're talking about tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of cutting.
Wow.
Just for this one area.
That is really nice with Costa plants, is that you do get a nice amount of plants in the basket,
Yes, there is a look to the Exotic Angel brand, and that's what we pride ourselves on, is that nice full look. In the production area, if you can see soil, we're not happy with that. So here's a good example of what we call leaf and eye cuttings. It's just usually 1, 2, maybe 3 leaves.
Hi.
That come in.
Okay.
Like so. And that is stuck directly into the pot. You can see there's no roots.
Yeah.
This plant is ICU. And then we've got a bed of Mandula, which this is one that when the roofs got changed, it kind of affected the foliage a little bit. The damage that did happen is stopped, so we're confident that these will be wonderful finishing plants.
These are Mandula?
This first one is Marble Queen. The rest of these are Mandula from here on back.
They're huge. These leaves.
Yes, this is one that is so time consuming with building stock for. They're not fast growing, but yeah, that's what you get in the store. It's that wow factor. An 8-inch Mandula, 25 cuttings.
For like 18 bucks.
Yeah, for 18 bucks. If you were to try to find, because I follow a lot of this plants and stuff on Facebook.
Right.
People want, $5 for a leaf,
Some of the more uncommon and rare plants that you all have brought to the market. It's been wonderful because it's enabled us plant lovers to have the opportunity for some of these more rare plants that we weren't able to have otherwise because they're so expensive.
A variety that I am most excited about It's one that I discovered, hold your applause for later. Be some pushback because it's a trade scantia and it's variegated, and some people say, oh, I've seen that before. It's similar to the Nanook and some other things, but this is a true mutation that we found on a trade scantia zebrina, and I just fell in love with it. I think it's eye-popping.
Oh, this is so cool.
When I look at the plant, it makes me happy. My last name is Lee, so I got to name it. I called it Happily.
And you can really tell a difference.
That's what I like to think.
Yeah, I can tell a huge difference.
The undersides are much more pink, I feel, than the other ones. They're a little bit more purpley. These are just very pink. A lot of white.
How fun to find something like this and be able to propagate it and put it out, and
it is nice. It was one vine that had maybe 3 or 4 leaves on it. A lot of times, like I said, a sport mutation is not something that will replicate. You can't get it to continue, but this one, the first one, went really well, and then the cuttings off of that went really well, and then more and more and more, and this is the end result. So.
And Tradescantia is such a great plant.
So easy.
Yeah.
It's so easy. A lot of these things you'll see out in the wild. We use it here in Florida for ground cover. You see them around oak trees and stuff, so very easy to take care of. So that's my favorite.
So what are these?
Those are Pilea glauca.
Okay.
This is uncommon. This is uncommon for a house plant. Plants that you'll find in the stores. We do a lot of fern here. We don't do any of the fern growing ourselves as far as tissue culture. We buy in the cells and the plugs, but what you'll find with the Exotic Angel brand is nothing common. Like you'll see over here, a Fortune's Holly fern in an 8-inch. This is a very uncommon fern to find.
That's pretty. Hey, you don't see these around very often. What's this one called?
Fortune's Holly.
Fortune's Holly.
The plants that you see under these gutters, these are all stock plants. These are mother plants. These will never be shipped. We grow them out only for the pups. Harvest and stick. Everything we do here is on purpose. These gutter lines that have the mother plants on them, these are not good for finishing because the condensation collects here and drips, and it affects the quality of the foliage. So the foliage is no good for shipping, but the pups that it gives is amazing. What we do here in the baskets is so neat because you don't see greenhouses built like this with the amount of trees and the amount of plants. Usually baskets are an afterthought. You have a greenhouse with beds and bedding plants, and then you have a small row in between, and you say, oh, well, let's fit some baskets there. That's not what we do here. We are committed only to growing baskets at these locations. So it's unique. You don't find greenhouses like this. These are some of those larger Selaginella rainbow. Rabbitfoot fern, very slow growing. Kangaroo fern, again, another uncommon fern. Most common ferns you find in the box stores are your Nephrolepsis, your Boston types. We do very little of those. We'll go over to location 9 and see we've got Staghorn Fern as well. So a lot of uncommon fern. This one's a new one that in the baskets we haven't done. Very interesting looking, right?
These
this is
are
cotton
pretty.
candy.
Do you have a favorite variety of plants that you like, or?
It kind of changes based on the seasons. When Hoyas are blooming, those are my favorite. And when we go and look at some, we'll see them blooming.
Yes, I'm so excited.
In the summertime, I just love the variegation on the Pothos, the Marble Queens, and the Gold Pothos. They're so vibrant. It just depends on the season, I guess. Yeah.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
I don't have
it changes.
One favorite. It just depends.
Like when you're 5 years old, who's your best friend? I'm a grown up now. I don't have a favorite.
Right.
I have a lot of favorites. I can have more than one.
So typically, after you find some unique mutation or something that you want to try, how long after you find it before you know it's good and it starts going to market?
Well, the whole process, by the time we find it and we have enough stock that we can get it out to everybody, is about 2 years. Because we grow in such large quantities and hit so many markets, it doesn't quite seem fair to grow just enough for one market and not, share it with everybody. This is not a club, right? Exotic Angel brand, we're not a club. We want everybody to have access.
Look!
Cebu blue.
This is so lovely.
I've got better looking ones too that we'll get to see, so.
So what's the story on these? Anything interesting?
Just a variety that was brought to us, and hey, you guys interested in this? Yeah, we like it. Let's trial it. And it's had some ups and downs. It's much more of a leggy variety, as you can see. It doesn't give us that really full Engelmann look that we're looking for, that Exotic Angel brand look. So we have to trim these, which the goal for a lot of these plants is to not have to trim them. We fill them so full that you don't have to, but this one we just can't. We haven't been able to escape it. They have to be trimmed in order to get that Engelmann look.
Any care suggestions that you recommend?
Not anything different than, you know, epipremnums, your gold pothos.
Yeah, about the same.
About the same, yeah. You'll see these scattered throughout the greenhouse, and they're in the same environments as the gold pothos. I mean, the gold pothos are just a few feet away. So they get pretty much the exact same light. They get the same fertilizer. Some staghorn behind you, 8-inch staghorn. That's actually an easy way to tell if the plants are being watered or if you're missing a tube somewhere. You can look at the floor. If it's not a consistent pattern, then you know something's, maybe a tube is out. In order to help these plants be acclimated the best they can to an indoor environment, we have to paint the roofs twice a year, and then one time a year we have to strip the paint off. So this time of year, because the light is not nearly as bright as in the summer, the crew gets up on the roof and takes all the paint off so that we get the proper light that we're looking for. And then in the springtime, the crew has to get back up there and paint the roof. And in the summertime, they got to do it again. So that's just one of the many things, the extra steps that we take to help ensure that the customer has success at the end. Here's some more Cebu blue. These are recently trimmed, like I told you earlier. We just are not able to finish them without a trim. So you can see all of these cuts are now going to have another explosion of cuttings. It's going to create that nice full look that we're looking for.
So when you trim a plant like that, you know, for finishing, do you take those cuttings and then put them into the next
Yes.
batch? Okay.
That is part of the process of not wasting anything here. Nothing goes to waste. Even if a plant, let me show you. Location 9 will be a better example, but this is a small example. These are plants that didn't make the final grade, but instead of just tossing them, wasting them, we let them grow down and give us cuttings, and we use them in production. Where we are now is location 9. This is where we do most of the 6.6, I'm sorry, all of the 6.6 and some of the 8 inches mixed in here as well, depending on the variety. So these are all the smaller hanging baskets.
Yeah.
So different plants have different pests. Ivy have their own pest, and in putting everything in one building, we can have a solution to those pests all in one area, which just makes it more efficient to take care of it. Here is the mother lode of stock plants. This is the house that when we have little tours and stuff, we don't let people in here, okay? So this is a very privileged moment. Da-da-da.
Da-da-da. Hey! Wow.
So we've got some
Oh my
rare
gosh,
plants.
this is so pretty.
Alsobia dianthiflora with a very interesting flower. We're not known for our flowers. We're a foliage company, but plants flower, and when they do,
Oh,
it's
I love
special.
it. Yeah. These are so cool.
You can leave it open. It's okay. Muhlenbeckia, maiden hairvine.
Wow. Look
We've
at
got
these
the lipstick.
plants.
That is the twister variety.
That is so cool.
Gracilis or red elf.
one. Is this a type of lipstick plant?
Mm-hmm.
This is so different.
It's red elf or Gracilis.
Almost looks like a Hoya. It feels like a Hoya a little bit.
Right.
It's like the kind of thick leaves. This is beautiful. Oh.
The one next to it is mini variegated. There's some better vine to look at over there. These we started to get into the production side of it. So.
These are lipstick plants as well?
Yep, there's mini variegated.
Wow.
Got two varieties of Selaginella, the golden moss and Emiliana. It's a Peperomia cupid, variegated cupid. The issue with bringing plants like this to market is not the difficulty of growing it, but it's on the shipping side that we just have to, we put in paper sleeves, you know, we go the extra mile so that this plant, when it gets into the store, will have the same look that it had when it left the farm. Hoya's here. These are blooming.
Oh my gosh.
Some bilobata.
Look at this.
This is a variety that was found in our greenhouses. This is called snow caps. It comes off of a mini wax.
Wow.
Just a little bit of speckling.
I know these leaves are so beautiful. I love the little speckling on them. The petite leaves. They have a little bit like a little texture, crinkly texture to them.
One of those that, wow, it grows so slow. And it takes a long time before we can harvest the cuttings. This was a variety that was found at one of our locations in our stock of the Hemigraphis purple waffle. This is some mutations we found in Mandula, actually. And we're just playing around with it, just seeing what might stick, what might work. There's a little bit more speckling in some of this stuff, a little bit different. So
it looks a little like pearls and jade.
It does. It does.
Enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this. Oh my gosh! I have to get a picture of that.
Stock, yes. Scamdatus picta, silver philo, also a very slow-growing variety that it's hard to build stock of. It takes a long time.
My friend has one climbing his couch right now.
Oh yeah? Beautiful. Mandula stock of all the pothos that we grow, just, it can do some funky things. You can come in here and spend an hour just looking through and seeing different variations and mutations, and again, not that any of them will turn out to be anything, but it's just cool to come and see what Mother Nature is doing in here.
I'd be in these greenhouses all the time looking at everything.
So the yellow philo.
These are beautiful. Oh my goodness.
These big old leaves coming off of this Mandula. Can you see that?
Will you pull them down again? That looked really just for size. Oh my gosh. That's so amazing. God, beautiful leaves. So gorgeous. Like, it motivates me to get my Mandula like growing and in really good conditions, because I'd love for it to get nice and big like that. And then I've seen some monsteras and stuff.
Yes, at one of the other facilities we do the silver monstera.
Silver Begonias?
Yeah, I don't do that at this facility, but I have a great grower, location 2 and 3, that grows those.
Any recommendations on care for these?
Not a lot of water.
Okay.
Actually, with any plant, the number one things that kills plants is not the amount of water, it's the frequency at which you water something. So you can drown a plant, you know, it's not a big deal, just as long as you allow it to dry out and not keep it super wet. So it's the frequency, not the amount, that typically kills plants.
So long as it has drainage.
Drainage, yes. Got stock plants of the epiphyllum, the monstrosa, right down this way. These.
Oh wow, look at those.
Time of the year when they come out with their fruit, oh, they're so pink and they're just full of them. Their plants didn't quite make the cut, so we hold on to them, but these are some Rex Begonias.
They're so pretty.
Yes, and they're blooming, which is,
I know, they're
again,
gorgeous.
on the foliage side, it's not what we're looking for, but if you can get a plant that's flowering, boom. One of the neat things about these greenhouses is if you're up on the roof and looking down, it would look like a checkerboard. There's not one plant that is over another. The spacing that we use is aggressive, but it's not greedy. So we could very easily put these plants closer together and get more plants in the greenhouse, but then that would affect the overall quality, which for us is a no-go. If you take a peek, you can kind of notice the difference between the light currently. Look through here and you can see how it's nice and bright, but then you look over here and how dark it is. If we were not to take that extra step and take the paint off of the roofs, our plants would be growing in conditions like this. I think the team is currently maybe halfway through this house and they're working their way this way. You can see where it starts to brighten up down there.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Yeah, so they're working their way this way.
That's cool.
This is the Fern House. I believe this one's already been stripped of its paint.
Look at these. Wow. Just keeps going, huh?
It does. These are some Maranta that though this one is on finishing lines, these are for stock, just because of the proximity of where they are in the greenhouse. It's weird for shipping, so that's why they look a little not Exotic Angel brand-ish.
They all look great to me, but I know you.
When you're in it every day, you pick up on the. I can go through here just in walking and easily spot plants that are dry, that just look different. My brain, the patterns in my brain for plants is just doing it all day, every day. It's easy to pick up on. My first love for plants came on outdoor plants, landscaping plants, palms, all that kind of stuff. And then I had an opportunity to work here and I fell in love with it. Trailing Ripsalis, very long grow weeks. Some Prostrata, about ready for shipping, about a week or two away.
Hoya!
There we go, we're here.
Look at the Hoyas. Wow. All right, so tell me everything.
So these are what we call the Hoya Rubra, Hoya compacta, or sorry, Hoya carnosa. We do have a few different strains of the Rubra. We don't really mess with trying to figure out names. We know they have different looks to them. At one of our other facilities, they're more of a rounded look, and we have more of the oblong, straighter look. Just helps to give the customer something a little bit different, little variations. This house, the paint is never really messed with unless over time the paint gets worn out. We like to keep this area nice and dark compared to the other houses. The Hoyas, especially this close to the greenhouse roof, don't like a lot of light. If you have it next to a window, perfect. Half of the day, just right. But all day overhead light is just too much.
Okay.
So we keep it darker in here. We've got some different variations going on in here on our mini wax. Not these specifically, but down the row a little bit. This is just the normal mini wax with some bilobata on that bottom line.
Okay, yeah.
All of these stock lines under the gutter have some rope. So these are a variation we found. You can't really tell too much when they're young, but they have a little speckling. We call this Ruby Sue.
Ruby Sue, I love that name. That's so cute.
I believe that was named after the wife of the gentleman that found it. So
There you go.
snow caps, again, when they're this young, you don't really quite yet see the different variations, but as that gets older, it'll become much more speckled. You'll get more of this, that look.
Oh, it's beautiful.
This is the house that it takes forever to grow this stuff. They're rare, but we love bringing it to market. So,
Well, we appreciate it.
our pleasure. A typical average 6-inch will be 13, 14 weeks. Most of these will go 18 to 20, even upwards to 26. So we're talking about half a year for a 6-inch basket to grow it. That's a long time. I can get 2 plants to rotate in the same spot as if I were to replace it with something else. So
The variegated compactas. Look at this.
So this one we are calling right now at the time, calling it red rope, just because of this, the tips that come out with this red.
Holy hell.
That is something, huh?
I'll have to take a picture if I'm allowed.
Oh, I have to take a picture.
Okay. Well, I'll take pictures, pose with the plants. God, this is amazing. And these are really slow growing, I know.
Yes, they are. I don't know if I have my tags on these.
And so you, as far as shipping, you just wait till they're ready and then you ship them out and it's kind of random?
Yeah, these we won't ship. I'll let these grow down, do cuttings. That's what these 6-inch are for.
Yeah.
That's about a year's. All of these plants, this is maybe 600-700 plants. That is a year's worth of this. So we grew this for a year to give the customer this. Anything with the white on it, we've always tried to propagate and have never had success. And the reason for that is because there's no chlorophyll in here. So this part of the plant is actually just a parasite. As cool as it looks, it contributes nothing to the plant, only takes. So as beautiful as it is, He's a parasite.
That's how it is when I see an all white leaf on my plant. I'm like, oh, it's so pretty, but I know it's going to die instantly. And it's not helping my plant out.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for having me out and sharing all
pleasure.
of
This was great.
with everybody. This is going to be really exciting to share. And I'm always so incredibly impressed with Costa and all you guys do. So thanks again.
You're welcome.
This is something we have not exposed yet. It's Peperomia Shumi Red. There's also
right.
Red Luna out there. We're doing Shumi Red, which is a patented variety.
Wow.
So
They're beautiful. I love the purple color of them. And
there's a little bit of them that, again, you get that silver initial out of the lab reversions that you'll see up in front of you. We will separate those and sell those separately.
yeah,
We won't
see
sell.
them.
Yeah, we won't sell those, of course, as the purple variety.
my goodness.
I mean, I can't understate the form. I mean, it's like almost like a lollipop or an ice cream cone. The way it just is all just rounded and perfect from the center. A lot of plants don't just grow that way. This plant grows that way.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of peperomias do, but to get that purple.
And it's even shimmery.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's got that too. But I mean, that's incredible uniformity. Normally, we have plants that go all over the map. You know, we gotta deal with it. We gotta manicure them to get them to look uniform, because you need uniform plants for people to buy them. So we're doing a lot of begonias. I mean, a lot. And of course, a lot of these you probably have seen, or at least seen on Instagram, but you haven't seen, again, production. Our goal, again, is to be into big production of these plants. So this is a magnificent plant. And it holds up incredibly indoors.
These are beautiful.
All of the begonias that are coming on
Yeah.
in the next year, I'm absolutely in love with.
Yeah, let's show you down here. This is an amazing one. This is a magnificent
Oh,
plant.
yeah. This is one of my all-time favorites.
Yes, you know it. Yeah. It has a few different names on it. What name do you have on it?
I've heard looking glass.
Yes. Okay.
that what you
Yeah. That is what we believe it is. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So this is another one of my discoveries that I've been beating my head against the wall to build numbers on. But this is extremely rare. You'll see this on the internet.
This is beautiful.
Extremely rare and extremely expensive. A plant this big right here would probably be, I don't know, $100.
Yes.
Maybe even more, $150.
Well, yeah, some of these rare begonias are just impossible to find. Look at that.
And the color.
Yeah, it's
is
like reverse.
Yeah, it's a little bit reverse and there's less pink. It's a little bit better probably indoors. But it's all, you can see it's cuttings. So we call it a chop shop. It's all for stock. We call it two-toner. It's definitely going to be released sometime in the fall. What we love about it is that right there.
Beautiful.
Very, very rare to have a plant that's greening on the top and then red on the bottom. I mean, there's just no way to describe that color. These are small plants, but you get a bigger one and you hold it up.
Oh my gosh, stunning.
Yeah, it really is.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And these are just planted, so they're small and they're actually really dirty.
Wow.
We're going to show it to you clean. And actually, these don't look good at all. We're going to show you this plant, shiny reflecto like you've never seen. Do you know what it is?
No, I was going to say, what is it?
Yeah, it's Geogenanthus.
Wow.
It's a new genus in our business, and it's unbelievable indoors. And again, we're going to show you later some beautiful stuff that you can video that look better. This is the grower who grows all the.
Hi.
Jackie's the one who does all the growing for all the trending tropicals.
Nice.
So-
Hi, Jackie.
I named it Baltic Blue, Epiprenum pinnatum.
Oh, it's not.
No, this is a much different plant. The blue, this is a lot. The Cebu blue is almost like a silver grayish color. This, which again, right now, I don't know if you can see it here, but let's see if I can get one where it's enough mature leaves on it. This leaf is much darker, much bluer green.
I see that.
And I can't even say that this is even perfect, but you can see it down there. See the color of the leaf?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's much darker. These are because there's a bunch of new growth on there.
I think the Cebu was supposed to eventually fenestrate, but this does it much earlier.
Yeah, and it's going to do it much earlier. We figured out a way to get this to happen much earlier. We're going to have that where this top is all like this.
Wow.
We were just actually in a meeting today about that, but again, I don't think you can get the justice of how blue that is.
Here's a really nice leaf that has the blue and the fenestration there.
Yeah. This is gonna be a hit.
Oh yeah.
All right, everyone, how amazing was that? I had the absolute best time, and thank you so much to Danny and Costa Farms for having me out and enabling me to film that video for you all. It was incredible, and it was pretty exciting to be able to share some of the exciting new plants that will be coming out with Trending Tropicals that Mike shared with me during the first video. So huge thank you to all of them again. Make sure to leave in the comments what you thought, and if you haven't seen the first episode, I highly recommend it. I have included it in my description below and here as well for you. So if you'd like to see future episodes showing up in your newsfeed, I have all sorts of cool content coming out. If you want it to show up in your newsfeed, the way for that to happen is to subscribe. And like I said, we have a really cool plant community on Instagram if you're interested in that as well. And lastly, there was no way I could have gone to Florida and filmed this video if it wasn't for Athletic Greens sponsoring this video. Get your greens. Go to athleticgreens.com/plantlife to get started on your order. Athletic Greens is going to give my community a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. I hope you have a fabulous rest of the day. You will definitely be seeing me soon. Bye!